Hi, I'm Abby and welcome back to Beat and Root Bakes. Today we are going to make some hot crust buns, but with a little twist. So we're going to have chocolate and orange and a bit of cardamom in there as well. The first thing that we'll make is the bread bun dough. It's an enriched dough, so that means it's got some milk and eggs in there and just makes it really soft and tender. And then we will add the fruit and chocolate once it's had its first proof. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to crack open some cardamom pods. I think people are a bit scared of cardamom just because they look a bit intimidating. So all you do is just in like a little pestle and mortar, just give them like a little bash. And then it just releases all of like the little seeds out of them. So you just get rid of all of the green part and just give them like a little. So in my pan I'm just going to melt some butter. Get this thing to work. So once that's all kind of melted and softened, I'm just going to add in the milk because we want this to be like a just warmer than like body temperature. So that's going to cool the butter down so that's not too hot, but it'll also warm up the milk. And then we'll just add the cardamom in now, just so it's like infusing the milk, so it tastes really nice. And then I'm also going to add in 150 millilitres of kind of warm water. And plus the longer the cardamom's in the milk, the stronger the flavour will be as well. So while that's kind of melting along, I don't know if I said before, we've got 300 grams of strong bread flour in here along with a tablespoon of each of mixed spice and cinnamon. And to that you're just going to add in your yeast. I've got just 10 grams of fast action dried yeast. If you've bought a different kind, then you might need to activate it first, so just put it along in with the milk and it should just froth up after a little while. And then we've also got some salt, 10 grams of salt as well, and then just put that in the opposite direction to the bowl because salt will stop the yeast from activating. So you can kind of mix all of that through. I kind of tend to mix the salt a bit first just so it's not coming in direct contact with the yeast. I'm going to put it in a KitchenAid just to mix everything. I feel like that is the best way to get the gluten really working. You can do it by hand, just a little bit harder and it'll just take a bit longer. I've also got 75 grams of sugar in here as well, so I'm just going to put that in. And that really helps the yeast to grow, like yeast thrives on sugar really, and that helps that activate, so that can be all mixed through too. And then you're just going to make a little well right in the middle. And that's your butter to a nice temperature now, it's just warm. So I'm just going to sieve that just because we don't want the big pieces of cardamom in there. Add in the egg just into the middle as well. So free range like that one. Here, and then we're just going to whack this up onto a really high heat. Or high speed. So I'm just going to have to give it a little help. So I'm going to take my rings off. I think it's also really good to work with your hands because you can get a feel of how soft everything is too. I've just got a bread scraper. I'm just going to work that in a little bit. And it is going to be like a really wet dough, but don't be too scared of it because it's always best to have it less dry, I guess. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of oil onto my hand. Thank you. Rings on. So I just oiled up my hands. That's the best way to get all your dough off of everything without getting it too sticky. So I'm going to need that in a second, but I'll just take the hook off for now. And then you just kind of want to scrape it all away from the sides. And you're just looking for like a really soft, stretchy, elastic dough. So now we've got our dough. It's nice and soft. It's kind of come away from all of the sides as well. It's really elastic and stretchy. It's always really good to get your hands in as well because then you can really feel how the dough is, and then if you make them again then you know how soft it is, if that makes sense. And then what I'm going to do now is you can either work it onto a surface if you'd like, but I feel like the dough hook's already done that enough. Then we're just going to put it in an oil bowl and then it's just going to double in size with a bit of oiled cling film as well on the top. And when that's doubled in size, then we're going to add the chocolate chips and the oranges. So I've just got like a glass Pyrex bowl here. And I'm just going to add a little bit of oil into there. Excuse my really dirty hands. And then just really work out the size because it will rise quite a bit. And then you're just going to get your dough. Pop it in there. Should go quite neat. You just want to like flatten it down a little bit. And then that's just going to have some oiled cling film on the top, and then put it in a warm place for about an hour to 2 hours until it's doubled in size. And I'll see you when it has.
2 hours later.
Okay, so I've left this for a little bit over 2 hours. And then I just put it in the fridge just to try and stop it from rising, but it has risen a bit, probably a bit too much than preferred, but it should still be okay. So now I'm going to oil my hands up again, and then I'm just going to tip it onto a little floured work surface. And then we're just going to add all of the chocolate and orange peel. So I've just got orange and lemon peel, actually it is. And that is just about, I think I had about 60 grams in there. So I don't really know how to attack it. But yeah, I'm just going to oil my hands up. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of flour on the work surface just because I don't want it to stick to this. And this part is called like knocking it back, so you're just going to knock all of the air out of the dough. So I'm just going to put in my mixed peel and chocolate chips. Just get it all in that little. And then you're just going to work it really. So I'm just going to fold it all into the middle at the moment. You can add whatever you want into them. You can add some raisins or some currants, but if you are using raisins or currants, then just make sure that you've kind of soaked them first. Just otherwise they'll become quite hard in the dough. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just like stretching it out and then folding it back in on itself, and then I'll roll it again. And that way it's just going to make sure everything is in there. Chocolate chips flying over. Just pick them up here. I feel like adding all the chocolate chips and all the fruit at this stage rather than doing it at the beginning. Just make sure that they're more evenly spread out. So that's again going to go back in the bowl, and then we're just going to prove it for about half an hour this time. And then once that's had another little rise, we'll divide it into the individual buns, and then we'll put the crosters on them, and then we'll bake them.
1 hour later.
So now the dough's had a second proof with the chocolate chips and mixed peel in there, and it's doubled in size again. So now we're going to make the paste that makes the crosses on the hot cross buns, which is like the main part of having a hot cross bun. So in here I've got 75 grams of plain flour and 75 grams of water, and I'm just going to add those both together and mix it until it forms like a really stretchy paste really. And then I've just got a piping bag here with a really small fine tip nozzle. The finer the better, I think, otherwise you get a really spread out cross on your hot cross buns. So I'm just going to pop that straight into the piping bag. It should be fairly lump free. So I've just got a set of standard scales here, and we are just going to weigh out the dough, and then we can divide it by however many hot cross buns you want to make. So just quickly going to weigh it out, and it's about just over 1,000 grams. Just got two baking trays just ready to pop the hot cross buns on straight away. So then we're just going to divide them into about 83 grams per hot cross bun. And then what you want to do is you just want to pop the dough down, push it, and then roll it around in your hand, and as you come up you're just going to claw it, and then it makes a really nice little round hot crust bun. And then we're just going to pop them all together, but with a little bit of a gap because we want them to expand and then touch a little bit, because it's really nice to have them like pull apart. Okay, so I'm gonna again just cover those in oiled cling film, just so that it doesn't stick to the top and so that they don't dry out. And then we're just gonna again wait for them to have another rise, and then we'll put the crosses on with the paste that we've made. I know it seems like a long time to keep proving and setting aside, but it will be worth it and they'll be so delicious for it in the end.
Several bad puns later.
So now the dough is doubled in size and they're kind of sticking together, which is what you want. Some of them aren't sticking together that much, but it doesn't really matter. So I've just got the mixture that we made before with the water and plain flour. And then I'm just going to pipe the little crosses on. I'm just going to go down and then across. I know it sounds pretty straightforward, but some people just do it down and across, but it's easier if you do all of them at the same time. Stretch the dough, stretch it all out, if that makes sense. So start right from the bottom and then really stretch it, trying to go away from the buns themselves. You're not putting too much pressure on either, because you just want it to be like an even amount. And then we're just going to pop them in a preheated oven of 200 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. So finally we've got our buns, they're all ready and out of the oven, they're nice and golden brown. I'm just going to put a glaze on them now because that's what really makes them look nice and sticky. So we're also going to pull them apart, hopefully. I really like that about hot cross buns as well, when you get that bit where they're all like stuck together. There's a few things that you can use for a glaze. Some people do like a sugar syrup, so that would just be half and half water to sugar, and you just boil that. Some people use golden syrup and melt that, but I've just got some apricot jam that I've melted along with some boiling hot water, and it's just made it really quite runny. I think it's quite nice because then it's quite fruity. You can also do marmalade as well, just to carry on with like the orange and chocolate theme. But apricot jam is kind of good because you don't get big chunks of fruit sometimes. And now we get to eat one, which is the best bit. So I'm going to pick the biggest one. This one makes a really good one actually. So I'm just going to attempt to cut it in half. It's still really hot. But they're a little bit crunchy on the outside and really soft, and that's because we've done 3 proofs of the dough and it's just going to be so delicious. It's so good. Really orangey, really chocolatey. The spices come through. Really, really nice. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then like and comment down below any suggestions or any videos that you'd like to see. And don't forget to subscribe, and if you hit the bell button then you'll be able to be notified when we make new videos. And also, if you do happen to make any of the previous bakes or these bakes, then please tag me in any of them that you do. I'd love to see what you come up with, or if you do anything different. Thanks very much. Bye. Thanks.